You're good. Hey, everybody. Yeah, you're
Hey.
fine. Listen, we are excited to be here today. We're talking about Unhackable Movie, and I have with me some very special guests. In fact, I'm going to have them introduce themselves right away. Sophie, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm Sophie Gardiner. I'm a screenwriter, and I've been working on the Elixir project screenplay with you, Kerry, and it's been great. It's fantastic.
I love it. I love it. And I love your accent. Your accent is amazing. So, anytime you need to do a film, you need to have a foreign accent. I'm just saying, it helps. So, you can mute yourself now, and then let's talk to Sarah. Sarah, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I'm a film festival founder of the Prindy Film Fest, which just wrapped on its sixth year, and I'm also a screenwriter. So I've been a working screenwriter now for I think getting close to 15 years. So a long time, and recently branching a bit into directing and some other things. So I think Carrie, when we first connected, I had joined AAE. And I reached out with a question because I was originally supposed to be on a film shoot at the same time as I was launching my book. So I reached out to say, do these things, what goes into the book launch? What do I need to do with the filming? And that's how we kind of connected, talking about film production and getting into this amazing screenplay based on your book that Sophie, helped adapt. And it just kind of went from there. So yeah, it's been a great experience.
Love it. Love it. So here's what we're going to do, folks. I want everybody, including Sarah and Sophie, take a moment and share this thing. So if you go to Carrie Overbrunner author page, we got a bunch of people now who are jumping on. And Erica, thank you so much for sharing this. And now, again, we're talking today about the Unhackable Movie. I'm going to share it a bunch of places too. But Sophie, I'd love for you, Sarah and I will meet ourselves, but I'd love for you to share, first of all, how we met, because I think that that's powerful. A lot of times people say, how does this even happen? You write a book and how does this even happen? So I'll mute myself. Sarah, you do that too. And then Sophie, tell how we met and how you read Elixir and the next steps.
Okay, it's quite beautiful actually. I was listening on YouTube to Nightingale, and you were a suggested video just after that. So I've been listening to watching your videos for quite a while, about a year or so, until one day you made a video called "What Do You Do When No One Is Watching?" And that really touched me, and that was the first time that I actually contacted you, and we spoke. We did an interview for Inside the Writer's Bubble, which is my website, and it went well. And out of the blue, I read your books, and I wanted to read the next one, and I wanted to read your first fiction book, which was the Elixir Project. And from page one, I knew it was going to be a film. It could be made into a film. So I didn't think, I did what I call a quantum decision. I straight away wrote the first page of the screenplay from the book. And I sent it to you and I said, well, have you ever thought, and I didn't know you wanted to make a movie out of it, but have you ever thought to make it into a screenplay? And you said, go ahead. And that's what I did. And we did it together. We had, it took quite a long time because obviously it's very hard to to make the screenplay out of a book where you've got so many details and where the characters are much more explored. In a film, you need to go straight to the action, and we had to make some hard choices. That's when we met Phil Clark, the first consultant that we had, and then Sarah. And Sarah helped us to make these hard choices and to make this, I think, this fantastic screenplay now. I think it's summarize how we met and how we did it.
I love that. That is so cool. It was quite a journey because my prayer all the time was, I want this to be a movie, but it just wasn't working. Meaning the book came out and then I tried to push, and I have no connections in Hollywood other than the Shawshank Redemption. But it's something that you have to keep believing. And Sarah, I know that there's authors right now watching. By the way, we want to get a lot of people to ask questions. Lots of people are jumping on. Sherry, great to see you. Amy as well. Go ahead, type in where you're from. We have Lori, I believe, maybe Canada. I'm not sure. But go ahead, type in where you're from. And then there's a lot of people whose books should become screenplays. So if you know someone, tag them and say, hey, here's some encouragement. But it's funny because us three, I realized this a couple weeks ago. It's a journey, and it's a tough journey, and it's not for the faint of heart. And there were some weeks where Sophie was down and I was up, and then I was down and Sarah was up, meaning just belief. So Sarah, talk about that. I know you've been part of a lot of films and screenplays and all this stuff. Talk to us about the author not giving up and holding on to that dream. And you know, we have a spreadsheet with 600 names or something crazy.
Like 600 producers.
Let's give some tips and some inside little fun things here. Go for it.
Absolutely. So I think a really good piece of advice that I got years ago is that nobody in this industry, so speaking of entertainment, film industry, nobody ever fails. So they just give up. So sometimes people get discouraged and they just decide, you know, I'm not going to keep forging ahead with this. But the thing is that no one in this business actually fails. Anybody who keeps persevering and keeps just putting their project out, eventually those projects land. And the difficult thing in the film industry, it really is just finding the right person. I think people have this thought that it's just, you know, you got like just a couple major studios, but there's actually hundreds, actually thousands of indie producers as well. And deals are happening very differently today than they ever used to happen. And like Carrie said, it's really just keeping that belief going and not getting discouraged. When you do try to get a screenplay placed, it's very much a marathon and not a sprint. So I think we hear those stories that are kind of these rare stories of these people who they send it to one person and it's a yes and it's done. But that's definitely not the norm for how things go. It's usually very much a numbers game. You're getting in touch with, you know, hundreds of producers looking for that right person. And there's all sorts of reasons that are going to make them the right fit at the right time. You know, so many things that you might not even be aware of in terms of what other projects do they have? Are they too similar? Or are they just developing things that are different that might not have anything to do with the quality of your actual project, but it's just how it fits with them at that time. So, so my advice is just, you know, don't be one of those people who quits, just keep going, because eventually projects find their home. They find the production company that they're meant to be with. Love it. Love it. Sophie, you can see this guy that Dan, I gotta highlight this guy because Dan's a connection that I'm so glad he's watching, and I gotta give him props. He just got married. Congratulations. Dan was my one contact at Shawshank. Okay. So I'm like thinking, as you and I are meeting, Sophie and Sarah, every week since spring now, and I thought, how can we get a connection? And I thought and thought and thought, and then I pursued Dan, and Dan connected us with John. So Dan was the connection with John, the Columbus film. You know, I don't even know what its official title is. So it's John, right? Yeah, John's been with us. And then John connected us to Kenyon College, and John connected us to Elizabeth. So, I mean, that's kind of how this thing works. And even my friend Ben and Luke Siebert, where, you know, Josh Frainer, like, people just start coming out of the woodwork when you don't give up. Let's talk about that, Sophie, because, you know, you're going to a film festival and you're a screenwriter teacher,
And some of this is just, you just keep moving forward. Every lead, you just keep pushing. Let's talk about some of that.
Well, I think it's for everything in life anyway. You can't take no in business for an answer. It's just a delay. You have a no. It could become a yes, or it could be a better yes after. So I think it was Sylvester Stallone that said, you get 100 no's for one yes. And that's what I think is, you don't give up. You just take the no as a normal part of the process without questioning your ability or your talents. Maybe at the beginning of the process, it's always what we did, Kerry, when we were not sure we were doing the right thing. We contacted other people, other experts, Phil Clark, Sarah, and they gave us their expertise and say, well, this is something where you need to look at and to work on. And we did that, and we listened to the experts. But once we're happy with what we've got, which is the case now. We've been working for quite a long time. I think the no's are sometimes maybes, or sometimes it's about timing as well. But it's important for me anyway to keep the magic. The same way that I met you, Kerry, through a video. It's crazy when you think about it, because that video, what do you do when no one is watching? No one was watching me when I heard it, and I was actually working. And I thought, wow, how did you know? It was quite kind of magic. And if you put some magic in your everyday life like that, always hoping that something magical was going to happen, an encounter like John, Elizabeth, and all the people, Luke, that we've met so far. People are not there to stop you doing your dreams. They're actually there to help you. It's an attitude. Everything is about attitude. And yes, when it's tough, it's normal. It's part of it. It's part of the process.
Yeah.
So yeah,
well,
I think.
And what I love too, Sophie, is that video that I made, that was just some random video one day. I mean, people need to realize, like, I didn't even know a screenwriter, but what I did is I just said, I'm going to create content. And so I created content online, and that's the video that connected us. And when Sophie said she was a screenwriter, I'm just going to be honest, because sometimes we doubt ourselves. And I had gone through so many years of silence with the Elixir Project in terms of the movie, that in my cynical heart at that point, I said, oh yeah, sure, go ahead and write it. Like, I honestly thought you would just be like a lot of people out there that are like, hey, I can write your screenplay for you. And I was like, yeah, go for it. And sometimes we don't even believe. And then when you turn back the first couple pages, I was like, whoa, something's here. This is cool. So thanks for doing that. But I love the fact that John did connect us with people. And here's the other thing, Sarah, let's talk about celebrating the small wins, because in Unhackable, I talk about that too. But like, we pumped each other up when we met, and we're like, oh my gosh, we got this one little lead. How important is it that you have friends around you that believe in you? And how important is it that you celebrate the small wins?
Oh, it's so important. I think, working with the two of you and the three of us together in sort of our mini mastermind, I think has just been such a great part of this project, because as we go on, like you said, some weeks one person's up, one person's down, because you're trying to get it made. There can be little frustrations on the way, but we have had lots of small wins. We've had some pretty big people taking a look at the script. We've had some big people giving feedback. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback. really glowing feedback. And like Sophie, to your credit, when you've done rewrites and you've done, these like really putting the script together and continually elevating it, Carrie, lots of positive feedback on just the overall concept, coming from the book and how relevant it is now. And I think that's been really important along the way. So it's easy for people to get discouraged when you're like, I want to see this on the big screen already. But definitely take those moments to celebrate these people coming back and the fact that your work is resonating and it is moving forward and people are talking about it and it's making progress. That's really important.
Yes. And I think the other thing is sometimes people get the wrong focus. For example, we could have said, Sophie, oh, it's a sign from heaven. COVID just happened. The whole film industry is shutting down. See, it's not meant to be. Instead, you and I and Sarah, I mean, we said, who cares? This opens up streaming opportunities. So even though we thought it was going to be a feature film, oh, here's what I wanted to say too. The first chat we had with John, he's listening to me one-on-one, and he says, like, he shoots low. I'm just going to be honest. Like, he shot low. He's like, oh yeah, I got a connection in Cincinnati, and these people do horror Asian films, and I'm sure, and I kind of look at him, and he knew I wasn't messing around. This is important, folks. Along the way, you will get people that tell you to dream smaller. Now, John didn't know us, so to be fair to him, he just thought we were these random people. But he kind of said, so you read Elixir Project, Sarah, and what did you say about the budget of that thing?
Right away, I knew that was a bigger budget movie. And I mean, for people out, I know some people have been typing in about getting their movies made. There's of course a big difference between marketing a low budget movie and marketing a big budget movie, but this is a big budget movie. So this is aiming with some real ambition for a big movie. Yeah.
I think John's words were, Carrie, do you know that this is $100 million film? And I was like, I don't know any different, like, just naivety is good. But Sophie, let's talk about that, because we've had people along the way kind of tell us, well, if we're going to do this in Canada, you got to sign this form and you got to sign away this. And so there's people who will make, I think the important thing that I'm saying is people will try to negotiate your dream down. Somebody tweet that. People will try to negotiate your dream down. How, Sophie, did we come back with more fire? Why is that an important part of this process?
Well, actually, it's like in life in general, like everything, you need boundaries and to protect yourself, and you need to protect your dream the same way. So these boundaries can be flexible to a certain point. We had, you were saying that we had, I don't know if you remember, but someone wanted to do an animation movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. They wanted to make it a cartoon, and we're like, what?
Yeah. And we were looking at each other like, no, it's not possible. I think there is a point, and that's why for the people that don't know us, we're a team that really love each other and support each other, and we are different, but we act the same way. We decide with our guts as well, with our feelings, with our instinct. So when we don't know something, we kind of feel it quite strongly, actually. Like the day they said, let's do an animation movie out of it, and we felt like backwards. No, we can't do that. And that's how you know your boundaries. And I knew. I don't know. I don't know about you, Carrie. I knew it was gonna be long and it was gonna be a bit of a painful process. But at the same time, it's important to enjoy every single moment, every single mini wins, like Sarah was saying. And that's how you keep the fire. The fire, we keep it within our weekly meetings anyway.
Yeah.
As you said earlier on, when one of us is low, the other one is up, and pulling everyone, up again. And that's important because whoever you are, and if you want something where the task is bigger than yourself, like a project is bigger than us, then you need people around you to keep you going.
Yeah.
People who believe in you.
That's right.
So, and that keeps the fire going. We have a lot of belief in between us three, and sometimes it's like a ball we throw to each other when we lose it. But
Right.
it's important to be grounded and to understand that nothing comes easy, and to have people around you that won't tell you, "Oh, give up.
Yeah.
It's too hard. Just give up."
That's right.
So.
So, a couple things here. We have a few more minutes, but let's talk about having talent attached to your film, because there's a lot of things I've learned along the way here. I came in very clueless when it comes to screenplays, but Sophie, you're a brilliant writer. You just did a fantastic job with the screenplay. You felt like you were cutting out essential. I mean, we cut out some essential parts, like the renaming. So we didn't have the characters get renamed because we thought it would be too confusing. So there are things that you, as a screenplay writer, you have to say, I'll change these things, but this won't change. And you talked about how me and you need to be written in as the producers or co-producers or something, so that we don't allow the film to be changed too much. Give some tips, just give some, because our time is limiting, and we'll do this again, definitely. But give some like bullet points for people that are watching this, thinking about their own book turning into a film. I'm just going to fire questions at you. Okay. So number one, do you need talent attached to the movie before you go out and try to get?
Not necessary. No, I don't think so.
Okay, Sarah.
Sarah would say something else.
So I'll say it slightly differently. So I think it's not always necessary, but it helps. So, and especially for a bigger budget movie. So like I said, kind of the big budget versus the low budget. A bigger budget movie, if you have some sort of talent attached, it certainly helps.
Cool.
It's not always 100%. You absolutely.
Oh, we don't have any, and we're getting bites.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying. It's easier.
Yes.
But don't feel like you need Hugh Jackman to be your uncle.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. What is a pitch deck?
So a pitch deck is, it's going to be something that a producer can look at a glance that's going to give them an overview of this world you've created. So we put one together that had, sort of the Elixir Project cover. It had a synopsis, a pretty thorough synopsis of the story, a breakdown of the characters, a page that compared it to some other similar movies. And sometimes, you may have heard this phrase pitch deck. Sometimes people make the mistake of making it this massive thing that people aren't going to read through. And really what you want is just a couple pages. A producer can skim it, tell right away, is this marketable? Is it not marketable? And really just get a sense of the world and the universe that you've created. Okay.
Sophie, next question. What is the magic website where you find out a lot of contact information? Like, it's the Facebook, I call it the Facebook for movie producers. You remember what that what is it? What is it?
Okay.
Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah. IMDb.
IMDb. And what is,
yes.
I paid a fee to be part of that. Why is that important?
Right.
When you're trying to get
all the professionals are on there. It's full of information about the industry everywhere in the world. It's easier to contact people. There is the free version and there is the paid version, but it's worth it when you want to make a film. Yeah, that's definitely where you need to be if you want to meet professionals.
I love it. Sarah, anything you want to add to that?
I'll just add, Sophie already said it, but if you do the paid version, you can go in, and what's really helpful is you can look up any movie that's similar to the kind of movie you want to make, similar to your story, and it'll literally give you a list of everyone who worked on that movie, and in most cases give you the contact information. So you can find a direct email or direct phone number if you have that IMDb Pro upgrade. So it's almost like limitless contacts. So as Sophie said, it's definitely worth it. Once you have a screenplay and you're getting ready to market the screenplay, it's really valuable. Yeah.
Here's a fun question. Did we have anyone hang up on us?
Oh, yes, I did. I did. Yes. And I was surprised because we had had some connection through John. I think it was, I won't say the name of the actress, but it was a well-known actress that we were hoping to get for our lead role. And I think John had connected us through email. So the guy knew we existed. But when I actually called his office to talk, yes, he hung up on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someday we're gonna hold up the award and say, "Hey, we got hung up on."
Yes.
Right. I mean, this stuff makes you stronger. So, Sophie, let's wrap up with this. Couple things. We put in Unhackable a lot about Elixir Project, even excerpts from it. And in the audiobook of Unhackable, they actually get Heather's, the actress, reading the first chapter. But why do you think the people watching this right now, what opportunity do they have to get involved because Unhackable's launching, for the people who say, you know what, I want to go on this journey with Sophie, with Sarah, with Carrie? What can they do right now with Unhackable that will help Elixir Project? Can they get the book? Can they spread the word? And why, if that's true, why would that help Elixir Project movie?
Well, I'd like them to have the book, both actually, simply because it's a subject. Okay, one is a fiction book, but it's about something that is quite real. We are being hacked, and it's not a conspiracy or anything. It's just now our mind is busy checking our emails, our phones and everything. And our dreams are going in the bin because time goes by and you can't get it back. So in order to get your focus back, I think definitely to get the Unhackable book, but also the Elixir, to understand the fiction, how it could get worse. How could just to have a nice, especially for people that like action and mystery and a bit of sci-fi. How can this get worse?
Yeah.
And that is the question that I'm gonna leave it there so people can go and buy the book to find out.
Cool.
So and then create the community, be in the community, talk about it, and be with us. We are approachable, and we'll be happy to have everybody on board to help us out to make this film. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Sarah, what would you say? Unhackable launches in about a month from today almost, and it's tied to Elixir Project. It's almost weird to see the futures of these two things converge. Started with fiction, sci-fi, now it's sci-fact. Mm-hmm. What do you see as some opportunities in this next month for people who want to get
involved? First of all, I think it's so cool that you have these two that are sort of interwoven, because I don't know of too many other fiction and a nonfiction book that have gone together quite like this. To everyone watching, I mean, the more views, so this is an important thing to know in planning your own future screenplays too. The more views you have, the more audience there is, the more copies of the books that sell. All of this is really, really attractive to producers. So, I am hoping if you're watching this show, chances are this is a book that you're very interested in anyway. So definitely buy the book. This book has made me so aware of all the different ways I'm being hacked. And this word unhackable has now entered my everyday vocabulary. And every once in a while I have to remind myself, like, that came from Carrie, like that's Carrie's book. So it's like entering my lexicon. So it's valuable to read it for that reason, but also just in terms of pushing this movie forward, just being able to show that, Carrie's got the views and he's got the support is going to be really attractive to producers. It's going to show them that they already, that they already have a great audience to share this with, and it's going to make an incredible film. So,
in fact, we've been bragging about the tribe to our media contacts, like how engaged this group is and how diverse and how global. So thanks, tribe, for being here. I know there's people saying do more again. You know, there's people saying this was great. Here's what I want to challenge all of you about. We're going to take screenplay writing to the next level with Sarah and Sophie. They're both extremely talented. Again, I try to find the best in the world, and they are, in my opinion, the best in the world. They're going to help us in the future courses, future coaching. So this is only the beginning. But here's what I will tell you. The more you can show engagement on this topic, if this is your thing, the more time and energy we can devote to this topic for helping others. So if you say, oh my gosh, I got a film in me, I got a screenplay, really get behind this, because what we know then is we can essentially demonstrate the success of the process. And right now you're being experimented with because you're helping us. Like, we're actually writing some of this content. Sarah is, and Sophie's a wonderful instructor. So there's more coming. And Sarah and Sophie, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about, as we close today, you're working on a book, Sarah. And
yes.
What's the name of the book,
yes.
or have you named it yet? Or
the name of the book is Wolves at Night, and it's going to launch in early 2021. So it's a thriller. It deals with some themes. So a lot of my work deals with some themes of abuse, but it's a thriller set in the Alaskan wilderness. And I'm very excited about it. I'm at the stage right now going through my mini missions where I need to pick my editor. And that's been a challenge because you have so many great editors that I've had a really hard time. But I'm at that stage, and that's going to be in a couple months. So I'm real excited for that.
And Sophie, I'll tell you what, you probably didn't know that your post was going to go viral, but I shared that thing and people jumped on that post, like in many, many places, about depression and writing. So talk briefly about that. I know Sarah's got a book coming, but you kind of have cracked this topic of depression and writers. And that's my own experience. That's your experience. What made you write that? And were you surprised at the response that recently came up?
I wrote this because I was, I experienced depression like many, many writers, with up and down. And it's something, I've got all my friends are writers. It's not my fault. I love them. And we openly, because we are writers, we kind of express ourselves a bit more with more freely, and we can say to each other, well, I'm having that low again. And just observing people around me, I've just realized that we think we're all different, but we're not. We're not different. We all sensitive people who struggle, who have pain, who grow up with pain, and sometimes we can't express it, and many times that's how we become writers. If at an early age we couldn't express that pain, we grew up with a story to tell, and one day it comes out. And that's how I wrote the post. Was I surprised? Yeah, actually, I was quite nicely surprised. A lot of people wrote on my website or on Facebook saying that they recognized themselves in that post, and I'm really pleased for that. Not that they are depressed, because it's not a happy thing, but to know that you're not alone, that a lot of people are in the same situation than you. And writing is a therapy.
It is, absolutely. Well, this was fantastic. people can find out more about Sophie at tell us the website, Inside the Writer Bubble.
The Writer's Bubble, InsideTheWritersBubble.com.
Excellent. Sarah, where can we find out more about you?
Oh my goodness, I have a website coming literally within the next week. So it's sarahmcdermottjen.com. If they can, I don't know if my name is up for them to see how it's spelled.
Yeah.
It's going to be that. So check for that.
We'll put links in as well. Erica will do that. Thank you so much. And today's Tuesday, which means in 70 minutes, 80 minutes, I get to talk to you for our weekly Elixir Project meeting. And we're going to have a lot to talk about. Elizabeth, we finally secured a producer, it looks like, potentially. So this is exciting. Yes. Thanks for being here. Take care, everybody.
This was so much fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
See ya. Bye.